Mitch, do you feel that after probably a tough first quarter that you actually had fairly decent portions of the game where you had a bit of control?
We certainly got back in the game physically after quarter time, but credit to Lauderdale. I think most games like that, you need to start well. They started well, we didn't, so they put a gap in us and we were chasing arse all day. So, but yeah, I mean, we've got a bit of character in the group. We've got a lot of young blokes and they didn't throw the towel in, so there were some positives there after quarter time, but probably more after half time. We got back in it. We're just a little bit inefficient by foot. Again, we turned the ball over in spots that teams like Lauderdale, the way they're going at the moment, kill you going back the other way, and they're really dangerous up front and took way too many marks in the goal square in contested situations that we needed to spoil. So yeah, there's some positives, but we know where we're at and we know where Lauderdale are at. They look very good. They look very, very good. So it'd be a good team to stop them at the moment.
That first quarter, I guess, was travel a factor at all, or was it just that they got the jump, obviously being...
It's hard to know. It's hard to know. We're trying to play around a little bit with our travel and having a new group and young blokes. I mean, we had 11 players today that have never played at Lauderdale footy ground. So, I mean, that's okay. It's good. We get to experience that this year. Clearly, we weren't going to play finals from a long way back, so all those experiences are what we're after. And yeah, so 11 of the boys got their first game down here, and probably a bit shell-shocked early, I reckon, with the way Lauderdale's pressure was around the footy, and that's what good sides do. They win it around the footy and go from there. So that's probably what we got smacked a bit in the first 20 minutes.
You've played a couple of other top sides in the last sort of month or so. Where do you think Lauderdale stack up? Do you think they're a genuine flag?
Absolutely. Yeah, I think teams in this comp that have got multiple goal kickers are always going to be around the mark, and I'm not sure their spread of goal kickers today, but it felt like they had multiple options. Obviously Thor is in really good form, but it felt like they spread it around a little bit today. So I think for Lauderdale, and I'm only speaking from an observer, it's just where they finish on the ladder and where the finals are and all that sort of stuff, and who's the healthiest list. So I think it's probably four sides that can win it this year.
Who were you happy with your boys?
I thought our leaders were pretty solid after half time. In and around the footy got us back in the contest. We sort of started winning the ball in tight. It was good. We had a 15-year-old debut today. We kept it pretty quiet. We didn't want Windy to know that, so we had a young bloke, Joey Chaplin, who went away with the state on 16s, 15-year-old play. So they're all the positives that we're trying to create for our young players at our club. Young Malucci kicked 3, played his role, got up and worked back in behind Lauderdale. So that was good to see from a young bloke. But yeah, probably our older blokes were pretty solid. Dylan Riley was very, very good.
You feel as though, in terms of moving forward next year, you talk about where you guys are at. Are all the blokes on board and they're all keen that they're going to be part of this journey all the way through? Yeah, I mean, it's been very clear where we've wanted to head. It's been a very tough year, and you can't really... it's been a bit tougher than I probably expected, restarting with a lot of young blokes, but in hindsight, it's probably going to end up being a good thing that we've got such a new looking team with a sprinkling of older guys like Dylan and myself and Bo. So we think we'll take plenty from this year that will help the club going forward. You know, we want to try and win a flag, not just make the finals. And the last couple of years we've made finals, and Lauderdale have knocked us out both years, and we've finished 5th. And 5th, you're in no man's land. So we've reset it, and we've got an energetic young group, and we're certainly competitive. You know, our first quarter was very disappointing today, but after that was pretty solid. Thanks, guys.
Great stuff. Well, Clint, you must be happy. Another win.
Yeah, it was a good win. The pleasing part was our start today. Our defensive pressure was probably the best we've seen it all year. I was probably a little bit disappointed to see it drop away in the second half, but I think we'd done enough to sew the game up by half time.
It was an energetic start. You're all over them early. What was behind that?
I'm not too sure. I think the boys might have been a bit excited for Windy's 150th. He's got a really close relationship with a lot of the players, and I think that milestone might have just given him a little bit of a lift.
Who were you happy with today?
Look, I think Ethan Wish-Wilson, we give him the task of playing on Mitch Thorpe, and given how good Mitch is, I think Wish did a really good job to keep him to no goals, I think, in the end. Bryce Walsh was outstanding in the middle, a real captain's game. I think he had 39 possessions and 3 goals, which is a really good effort. But I think overall our midfield was super in the first half. But as I said, it was disappointing to see that taper away.
Tute Havea kicked 5, I think. It seems like different blokes are bombing up each week for you. You've got a really dangerous mix, haven't you, up there?
They are, and we probably pushed Ray Hill up the ground as well a bit today, and he found a lot of the ball, which is good for his confidence. But Toe's really versatile, and given he's still really in his infancy as far as a player goes, to have him go forward and kick 4 or 5, I think in the end, and he plays predominantly in the ruck, was a really good effort as well.
Next week, a big game for you guys. How will the week unfold? And I guess you must be looking forward to it.
Yeah, absolutely. I think any time you play Glenorchy is always an exciting time. They're the defending premiers, and it's a really good opportunity to show where we're at. But I guess everyone looks at us at the moment as being the form team in the competition, so you want to take that into these games and show why you're given that reputation. And they only went down by 4 points today, so they're coming along nicely as well with a win over Clarence last week.
It could be a big game in terms of the top 3, couldn't it?
It is. I think that's something that will shape the final 5, so yeah, definitely want to go out there and get a win.